I have a lot to tell. Okay, let me begin. So much happened the other night on the 17th in the Long Beach Library that literally changed the way I see who all of us are. Eric used to say, if you're afraid of a dog, it'll bite you. And the moral behind that is, if I'm afraid of you, then you'll be afraid of me. And can I just show you as I speak of certain people?
Oh.
Linda Swern. And here she is. She had such an effect on me. See her there with the tennis racket?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because she said, paint me the way, draw me. I did drawings at that time of people. And she says, draw me the way you see me. And I said, no, because I wanted to be the way you see yourself, because everybody sees people differently. And she said, no, I always wanted to know how people see me. Do it the way you see me. And we both decided that's a theme we need to explore. And at the end of my drawing her, we both decided how I see the person is how that person will see me back. If somebody dislikes you, automatically you feel it, whether by photograph or in presence, and they react by doing the same thing. In other words, if you're afraid a dog is dangerous, that dog becomes dangerous. And I began to think, what an amazing theory. People who like people will always like people. Be liked. Eddie and I, and let me point Eddie out to you. Eddie is right here with the camera. We found out that people liked us because in order for him to photograph them and for me to draw them, we're happy to do it. So we look happy. And in turn, they look happy. And then one of the most important questions I ever asked in my life, which is still leading to answers happening within me, when I said to Jessie, my beautiful granddaughter, over here, she's not finished.
Oh.
Okay? But when I said to her, Jessie, how do you see the world? And Jessie said, nothing ever dies. It just changes its image. And it made me realize I am the carrier of people whom I know. And when I love them, I carry them forever. If I am afraid of them, I drop them. So I have this vocabulary of people in my brain, of people I love. And actually, I have no time for the people I'm afraid of. And it allows me the freedom to love, because my brain doesn't have anger in it. And somehow, when Johanna and I worked together, in other words, she did the work and I learned. She's the one who founded Artists in Partnership. I'm sure with other influences also, but she's the one who carries it. She likes people. I got to know her when she used to come into our frame shop because she was in charge of alternate school systems in Long Beach, but probably her influence has been in so many other schools before and since. And she has an incredible respect for what people can become. And somehow or other, I cannot speak of other things very much today because I'm still so affected by what she did through Artists in Partnership in the library. And I learned that when I want to do something, first learn what I want to say, and then zero in on that and do it.
Would you say more about what happened yesterday?
Yesterday, on the 17th, it was like a love fest. I've loved so many people and spoken to so many people, and suddenly they were all there. And when I was 8 years old and Hitler came, it comes from that, because suddenly I was told that the world is dangerous and I can't be allowed to go to school anymore because I'm Jewish and Jews are not allowed. And suddenly I couldn't play in the park because everybody was dangerous. And I knew that wasn't true because I was used to people smiling. And I finally realized that if you don't know people, part of you becomes afraid. And then like a dog, if you're afraid of a dog, they'll bite you. And I knew that I would begin to draw and paint people to look exactly like them. And then the world would not have anybody to be angry at because they'd know everybody. And that's what the theme was on Sunday at the library. And Johanna understood. And so did all that audience. I can never forget that night. Thank you.
Can I say one thing about it?
Yes.
There were about 200 people there, and they were there to see the world premiere of John Taracuso's documentary about Hetty called The World I Know on big screen, and then Hetty afterwards answered questions. It was standing room only. The whole auditorium was filled. News 12 TV was there, and actually you can see the segment they did on Hetty, and it's on her page now. And it was just an incredible love fest.
When I first met John, he came to visit. He's a friend of Kenny's. And he came to visit. Kenny brought him and Wendell. And John said, by the way, somebody someday's going to need to do a documentary about you. And eventually he said, it'll be me. I want to do it. But when I saw it the first time, I cried. And because he knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to say, don't be afraid of the world. It's only people who are afraid of others. And when I saw the documentary again on the 17th in the library, I thought, how did he know? How did he know to look at the feelings and understand and pick only the things that were necessary? And John, I love you, but when you came up with the idea that since you can't be here from California, you can be here virtually, I thought, I said thank you to the people who invented machines that go up into the sky and film things that nobody knows. And that John went into my heart and did that. And I want to also say thank you to Facebook. And to do that, Kenny, could I just show you the people who put me into Facebook?
Yes, and let me just tell people, for some reason, none of the chats are showing up. Of course, I've swiped left to reveal that, but they're not showing. So anybody who's writing, we just got our first response. It's yes, there we go. So here everybody comes. Martha Bilski says hello, and Dina says yes, we can change with one smile to a stranger or a kind wave from a car. And Ali Feynman Lapinel says, enjoyed yesterday's program very much. And she said, I wanted to say hi yesterday, but it was very overwhelming. And John Taracuso says, I love you, Hetty.
Okay.
And Kinha says, I always learn something new here, Hetty. You inspire me. And Kathleen says, so delighted to hear that the auditorium was packed, standing room only.
You made me so excited, I forgot what I was just going to tell you. What did I start to say? I have so many things I wanted to say. Oh, okay. Then let me first read the letter to you that I wanted to read. You see, oh no, yes, I know. They put me into Facebook. Pat and Bill. Pat said to me, why don't you go on Facebook? You have so much you want to say. And I said, no, I don't want to deal with strangers. And she said, no, you don't have to speak to strangers. Try it. There are no strangers. Through Facebook, the world is mine. And let me just read the letter to you.
Yes, and everyone is reminding us. Jean Geller says, love seeing you. Dina was reminding us, who put you on Facebook. And Dory said, the people who put you on Facebook. And Tracy said, thanking those who introduced you to Facebook. So thank you, folks.
Okay. I had a letter from a lady in England. And she said, I always wanted to write. How does one go about it? And I said, just begin. Just begin. And her writing touches me so. I think all of us have so many parts that we don't have time to recognize. And those which need to be recognized, keep pushing and prodding until we hear them. And we've been writing to each other, but this I have to read to you because it just came 1 week ago, and I wrote to her, I said, please, could I speak about it? Dearest Hetty, tonight I forgot to put the light on when I went to close the curtains. It meant that when I stood at the window, the house behind me was dark. Outside the sky was moonless, and even the stars had turned their faces away from us. There were no street lamps on. Let me just put on my glasses. There were no street lamps on. The only light at all was the shining signs of life in other people's windows and other people's houses. It comforted me. I could so easily imagine other people behind their front doors, living perfectly and imperfectly, but most of all, humanly. And above that sea of peaceful lights, the dark hills rose up in towering silhouette, as if to guard each one of us in this town. I had the thought, too, that the lights keep on going beyond the hills. Other towns beam their lights onwards and onwards into the cities. The lights keep on going to my right and my left and beyond my back garden as well. Even the planes carry humanity's little lights out over the water. So eventually that same unbroken chain of lights must get to you also. Thinking of you and your wonderful painting, tomorrow I will treat myself to watching your latest painting video over a cup of tea. Tell me your news. Love you. She knew she needed to be a writer because this is beyond words. And if not for Facebook, perhaps she would never have written. And now she's heard, as of today, with Kent in Sweden, with us here, with Paula and Eileen and Eddie, upstate New York. There are miracles. I want to tell you, I was going to paint. I'm going to paint right now. But I have to tell you what else I learned. Kenny, can you come here, darling? Okay. This is Jen. Jen worked in the Senior Citizens Magnolia Center. I took classes through her and loved it. And then I wanted, when she had her children, I thought, I've got to show a family in this picture. And I loved the way she spoke of her children and saw them. But she gave me photographs of them as being very, very little. And I didn't know them. And I need to know people. I need to see people and feel them. A photograph is fine once I know the people, but otherwise I don't feel them. So when they came, that was life. They didn't like something, they cried. They were happy, they were happy. And the little girl really wanted just to paint. She thought she's coming to see a painter. And I explained, in 10 years, you'll come and paint with me. Until then, I can't let anybody near the paints, because the paints never wash off. And so she did artwork. Kenny could use her work. And Jen, when I see you, I'll give it to you, because it made me so happy. And then you can come here as I work on them.
And meanwhile, Amy says, with a lot of hearts, Hetty, queen of appreciation for all gifts, both big and small. And Carol Hodkin sends a heart and says, it was a pleasure and privilege to be at part of yesterday's Love Fest.
It was that. It was. I'm going to show the difference now between, I need the whites, you see, because I've been carrying whites throughout. But I need darks also. So just watch as I do this and have a wonderful time. If anybody wants to ask any questions about the colors I'm using, I can afford to have a wonderful time because I have undertones. What's an undertone? The colors that I don't know will work until I put them in. And then, you see, our skins are nice. But a child's skin is beyond words because it hasn't formed yet. The child hasn't been formed. And when I watched Jen's children, I realized I haven't been happy working as I had to in this painting when I don't do real life.
Let me tell you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead. I'll finish later.
Oh, okay. Marcia Goldstein-Graber said, "The Love Fest yesterday made history. I was honored to be a part of your joy." And Phyllis said, "Your wonderful energy is contagious and comforting. Thank you." And Jen Cruz is watching.
Oh, good. Those are her children.
That's Jen. That's the Jen.
Okay. Jen is the gorgeous hair. And then her daughter appears with another load of gorgeous hair. What I'm doing now is making the darks visible, because when you're not watching, I'll be able to let them dry and go over them with the correct colors. Remember, those of you who don't do oil, it commands you what it needs. You have no say in the matter. But you know what? Those of you who are still able to drive, like I am not, the car tells you what to do. You're not important.
Let me tell you that Jen says, "Hetty, my love, Giselle is so excited watching you paint her right now."
I'm so happy. Sweetheart, as you're watching, this is the bottle that I need to probably ask Kenny to open for me, because that's the liquid that I was afraid of you getting on me and on you. I think you need to push down.
I know, I'm just trying to do it with one hand. So
I'll hold the phone.
Well, that won't really... Here.
You opened it?
You got it?
You're a genius.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you are. We can close it later. Okay. Oh, I'm so glad she's watching. You see, now I can afford to put white there because there'll be a shadow underneath and it still won't look good. But now, tell Jen, tell your little girl that's why she has to wait 10 years until I let her paint. Okay? I wanted to say something else also, except I forgot. Let me tell you what I said in the library when I had this amazing audience.
And Jen said that Giselle said, okay, and thanks for the cookies.
When you come again, I saw them for sale in the supermarket, so I have more for when you come again, okay? Are you going to share with your brother? See what happens now? The underneath is giving shape. And first thing I'm going to do now is take the pants that your dad is wearing and making them darker, because I need to make you important. And if I darken you, the area around you, and then tomorrow, next time, I can put on the curls.
Giselle says, yes, she will share with him, and she loves you.
I love her. And you know that you and your brother didn't fight at all? I'm so proud. You shared. I'll figure out what color I will do with the pants later. Right now, I just need these undertones, because that's what oil allows me to do. And your mom has this gorgeous skin.
Kathleen Bart says, I love the way you use the values of your paint to highlight what's important.
Yes, but you know, I never knew what will be important. And whenever people say to me, when will it be done? I look and I say, I have no idea. When will you know when it'll be done? And I say, when the painting tells me.
And Jen says that Giselle says that she wants you to come over and play.
Kenny is telling me what the time is doing, and it's continually moving. But you will see me again next Monday, okay? And I love all of you. And you know, if anybody wants to know what happiness is, it's being allowed to do what you want to do with all the mistakes that you will always make at the beginning. And I love all of you. And Kenny says I have to go.